Okay. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing some time with Psychic Frank's Mystery School. For those of you, more and more people are just starting to watch for the first time, so I feel I should introduce myself to a lot of people. I'm a psychic healer who uses astrology and numerology to enhance what I do, and everybody should. Right, whatever you're doing, astrology just makes it better. I mean, when you go home after this incarnation, they'll ask you, "Wow, you incarnated with the Saturn Pluto conjunction." Yeah, because the Saturn Pluto stuff, and the Uranus Pluto, yeah, the last this is like in his this is time cyclic. There's something going on. It started in the '60s. Yeah, and that's when we started singing about the dawning of Aquarius. This is the dawning of Aquarius, and but this is the end of the deconstruction, the power, the male-dominated power stuff. I always like to read from the Mountain Astrologer, and here we have the October November issue, and. Yeah, some psychic who use. I know a lot about astrology and numerology, but there's some really, really good astrologers out there who I get a lot of from. There's Pam Gregory, Rachel Spring, so many people. Yeah, because what's going on is Jupiter in Sagittarius will leave Sag and go into every 12 years. Jupiter brings a lot of gifts wherever it goes. It expands. You know, love expands, fear contracts. So Jupiter is going to be leaving its year in Sag, where it was in '07, I believe, and and it goes into Capricorn on the very beginning of the second day of December, this December. Jupiter, so really until December of next year, probably of 2020. See what's going to happen in 2020, and Uranus and Pluto are going to start doing this. It starts out 4 degrees and gets wider and closer, but this whole dance until they really conjunct in this is going to be really interesting. That's Uranus and Pluto for this. So from 2020 to 2025, a whole new paradigm, and of course, it's a better one. It's been down so long, it looks like up to me. Uh, yeah, but what's going on now? See, we have the GC, the galactic center of the Milky Way, and a lot's going on there. That's where Jupiter is right now. That's where the Earth is, I believe. Uh, that's why the magnetic poles can flip at any moment. That's going to level this playing field, that's for sure. For not for long, but you can't get away from school, but it'll happen for a reason. Be prepared. Well, the last time it happened, no, we didn't have a society based on technology, and unless you were at sea, I'm sure there was some shipwrecks and stuff going on then. But when the poles flipped, it doesn't happen every day. Get into the groove, as Madonna would say. Yes. So anyway, Jupiter's going to be in right on the GC, which is like this huge black hole, the largest in our Milky Way, in our galaxy, the Milky Way. So that's a beautiful thing, all kinds of information coming through the crown chakra. Do a lot of research if you're really into this and you're really into how the planets help us. The planets don't make things happen; they simply reflect what's going on. Uh, you you could really utilize this. And Pam Gregory talks about it on her YouTubes, and she gives references to other people because what's really mind blowing is the Great Attractor, the GA. Hey, GA. It's and that's much bigger than the galactic center. It's the black hole that encompasses affects like several galaxies, at least four. So and this. Is all about downloading cosmic energy. This isn't human laws. These are comic laws. Cosmic laws are going to come down. And yeah, because things are really accelerated now. And that's going to be 27 to 29 Sag. So it starts right around the 19th of November. Yeah, and it goes right through until, like I say, the second of when Jupiter goes into Capricorn, joining Saturn and the South Node and Pluto. How could I mistake? How could I forget Pluto? Yeah, Pluto transforms collectively and personally wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, because it takes Pluto a few hundred years to go around the wheel, and it's cyclic. And America is having its first Saturn return between 20 and 20. It starts around 2020, and by 2025, that's when Uranus, Pluto will be firmly in Aquarius, and we will have, I believe, the whole new paradigm. We'll know exactly. We'll have, but it'll be upon us. Yeah, these things. So Pluto's like molasses on a cold winter's day, But Pluto's very about altruistic motives. If you have any kind of selfish motives, it'll blow up in your face, So you can expect all these people to misuse their energy. If I was Donald Trump, I'd be very nervous. I'd be very nervous because and as far as science goes, I think the real cosmic lesson here is and it's a quote from a book I found. Yeah, I get on my hands and knees and I buy all these books and like store them away because space is very limited where I stay, where I live, and then I don't read them for like a long time because I buy them for $1 at the library sales and stuff, and then I get around to reading them. And I read this and then put it somewhere and then just rediscovered it. It's called Healers on Healing. Yeah, Benjamin Shield. Anyway, in the very beginning, there's a quote by Tillard. D. Chardin. It says, yeah, he was a while back, and he says something very pithy, very pithy. I love that, pithy. The day will come when, after harnessing the winds, the tides, the gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, men will have discovered fire. Yeah, you can see why the kids are all upset. It's like we're messing up. But as I said, they incarnated with special talents. Special talents. So it says, so everything's getting real. The second half of October, where we are now, things are really, really accelerating. Well, everything's accelerated always, but particularly this month, we go from this relationships and wanting everything to go nicey, pretty, like shiny things. That's all that Libra stuff. Always striving for balance, not dishing Libras. But yeah, so all this to Scorpio. Yeah, everything goes into Scorpio. The sun enters Scorpio on November 24th. No, the 23rd here in California, 10:20 a.m. Right now, Mercury is in Scorpio, and it'll remain in Scorpio until the 9th of December. All of November, Mercury will be Scorpio, retrograde. It starts on the first day of Halloween. Yeah, wow, that's gonna be Halloween. It's gonna be something. Talk about scary goblins and stuff. Mercury and Scorpio. Scorpio's the underworld. It's the pictures Norman Rockwell forgot to paint. It's Donald Trump, the personification of mob boss. You know, that's a nice country you got here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. You know. uh, so. Yeah, it's not funny, but I mean, yeah, he's taken over now. He believes it doesn't. I don't know. You learned in school, and at least when I was coming up in the 50s, you learned in the school that they taught you civics and how the government worked. We even went on a field trip to Albany. I remember it snowed, and we stayed in the YMCA in Albany, and we went into the to the buildings and participated in it was really, we were just little tykes, but it was an excursion, and you learned about the three branches of government. I guess Donald Trump's paid somebody to take care of that class for him. That's how the rich used to. I guess they still do it. There's so many hopeless cases around, and I found this little saying. It has something to do about hopeless cases, and it has, I now go beyond other people's fears and limitations. I create my life. That's yeah. So simple, so simple. Yeah, so the universe is love. The universe is love. But according to science, if extraterrestrial life exists, that's a joke right there. They exist to eat us. Well, we're all, no, and they don't mean it like we're all food for our archangels. No, they don't mean it that way. They really mean like warfare, warfare. We know 1,001 ways to kill people. We know nothing about life. We know nothing about life. Well, very few of us do. And a lot of them are transcended. So it starts off with Mercury information planet, uncovering all these dark, ugly secrets. Speaking of ugly secrets, I was thinking of, I saw Donald Trump the other day at some rally of his talking about how good looking he is, and a lot of his minions think they're really beautiful. I mean, everybody's beautiful, but they think they are really gorgeous. I mean, they think they're God's gift to the planet. And let's face it, to me, Donald Trump. And I was thinking, like, what's the most hideous creature that lived on the planet? And of course, I would think of being a movie buff, and I've seen it countless times. Charles Lawton in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo. And then I thought, we had one eye here, one eye here. It was an excellent makeup job. I think it won Oscars for 39. It's an old movie. And, but I said, no, no, Quasimodo had a heart. He had a soft, tender heart. He didn't have a hard-hearted, all these cruel is the object. Oh, I want to. I wish I could do something now, but I always wait 49 days, and I don't bother them. But we lost today. Elijah Cummings passed. He was only 69. I looked at him the other day on TV, and I saw him coming out with a walker, and I had never seen that. I had not seen that, and I saw that, and I thought to myself, "Wow, I hope he's okay." And my little voice sort of told me, "No, he's not, Frank." And then today I heard that yeah, he had passed today at 68, a living legend. And I thought of that Daryl, being a Scorpio. We forgive, but we don't forget. I remember just a while back, Daryl Issa pulled the plug on Elijah Cummings, and so he couldn't talk, he couldn't speak in a country based on freedom of speech. So the man, people like Daryl Issa aren't fit to, doesn't say right shine his shoes, but, aren't fit to breathe the same. I'm not even going to go there. See, it's all about unconditional love, but I'm hurting, because I got a picture of Elijah Cummings just last year. When things were really rough, I like they're not now, but it's when the corruption's been nonstop. So it was just nonstop corruption, and he was particularly being attacked. Yeah, when Baltimore was being attacked for being a crap hole place, and he was walking around without a walker. I know I would have noticed it, and then there was a big hit. Then Purnell Happy. Yeah, make you happy. And he was humming happy, and his microphone went in his face from all the reporters, and he was make you happy, and he was doing the whole happy song. And and I'm getting all verklempt now, but yeah. So in 49 days from today, I'll circle that on my calendar, and I'll definitely tune in. But until then, it's yeah, I've been anywhere between 40 and 49 days. It's written in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I've been doing this for like 40 something years now, and it's the time. I just respect that, I just because it works, it works. So it's all about love. So it starts off with the Mercury. We're gonna see. It's not gonna let up, and when Mercury goes retrograde on Halloween. That's like right around the time when Jupiter's in the middle of the galactic center and still conjuncting the great attractor. We're going to get some knowledge. We're going to get some cosmic knowledge. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So get your kundalinis ready. Open your crown chakra. This is why we incarnated now that's why that book I was telling everybody on my last show, Elastic, there's so much, they're saying eccentric kids are the ones that invent light bulbs and do all these wonderful things. Like Edison was a total eccentric. Parents couldn't keep him in a school. They had imaginary friends way past when they should have had them. They had a way different relation. Sort of like, I'm not saying I'm like Edison, but yeah, there's a lot of people like me. A lot of us psychics, wounded healer psychics, is a lot of them. I've seen on TV this one guy who lives on the East Coast. I don't know, years ago he was interviewed on TV, and the police especially used him to solve cases. And he's just a phenomenal dude. Comes from a large Irish family, I don't know, in the teens as far as brothers and sisters, and he was somewhere in there, and for some reason his father hated him the most, a violent alcoholic, and everybody got it rough, but he got it especially rough, and he had on the way home used psychic ability to figure out if he should maybe stay away that night. They wouldn't miss him with all those kids because the old man was drunk and he wouldn't remember if he was there or not. And I was like, that was my life. I had my grandparents not too far away. And I guess that's when I, out of necessity, developed my psychic ability there. I really believe, our Creator says to us, okay, Frank, what do you want to do in this incarnation? Use me as an example. And I said, I want to be a psychic healer, man. Yeah, I want to get down there and work with wounded people, with battered souls, help people get their soul, get a home here, do all this. And he said, wow, we better get you down to a foster home right away. We're going to give you, we got just a family, man. These people, this is this couple, man, totally dysfunctional. I mean, criminally dysfunctional. They're gonna somehow adopt you, and you're gonna have a hell of a first 30 years of your life. But then and that's how it goes. Prayers are being answered, but not Hollywood style. Now approaching my 71st. So anyway, it starts off with information, and then Venus went into Scorpio on the 9th and joined Mercury, and then the Sun on the 23rd, or is it the 24th? The 23rd, Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2019, goes into Scorpio. So, and then Mars goes into Scorpio come. Where are we, Mars? The 19th of. Where are we? Mars enters Scorpio. Okay, here we are, Mars. Okay, so we're talking right around, yeah, the 18th, Monday the 18th. Mars will enter Scorpio, so that's when egos come into the mix. Then that's going to be 2 months of all kinds of ego break. I'm laughing because it's going to be like the best show in town, man. We're gonna see a total. They're all already. Nancy Pelosi said he's off the rails. The Mad Hatter there, our president, is off the rails. So right around the 18th, when everything. Mars leaves Libra, so forget about piecing. By then, peace is over. There's no, we have irreconcilable differences, and that's when things get really intense. Because don't forget, Mercury will still be in Scorpio and actually still retrograde until the 21st of November. And then Venus, not until the 26th of November, will still be in Scorpio. So things are going to get really, really, really intense. And that's, there's no two ways about it. So don't think you're overreacting or anything. Use it. Use it. Use that intensity to go deep. Never is the time now. Make your courage bigger than your fears. As long as you're surrounded with the love and light of the Holy Spirit, this is Scorpios totally a master of reinvented themselves when the time is right. And once again, ruled by Pluto. So you want to make sure your intentions are altruistic. And it's not, well, I want to buy the world a Coke. I hate Coke. I said the word hate. I dislike strongly. I don't desire Coca Cola. Uh, uh, you're gonna create it there. I'm really thinking about it. It says to desire something is in proper accordance with the law. You attract what you desire. To need something is misuse of the law. You cannot attract what you need if you feel you need it urgently or desperately, because that emotion contains fear. Fear contracts, love expands. That kind of quote unquote needing keeps things away. Desire everything, need nothing. My desires will always be met. And how much money makes you feel secure? So many people say, "Well, this many $1 million will help me feel secure in my old age." How do you know that? Things could change. Extraterrestrials could come down with hands of diamond, and diamonds could be the new exchange. Didn't you ever see the way the day Noctu Barada Neptu, the day the world stood still? Uh, yeah, out of the abyss, unpredictable life emerges. You want to make God laugh, tell your plans. With a never ending procession of miracles, crises, healings, and growth. When I realize this once again, I see the absurdity of my belief that I can understand, predict, or control life. All I can do is go along for the ride with as much consciousness and love as I can muster in the moment. Someone named Molly Young Brown wrote that. I thought I'd share that. Yes, so we're coming up. We just had the Scorpio full moon. That was all about healing. Uh, yeah, because there was a strong emphasis then, just a few days ago on the 13th, with this Cancer North Node in the some house doing a number there. The South, yeah, the North Node in Cancer. All you Cancer people, do some research about the North Node in Cancer, because whether you're aware of it or not, you're going through a rebirth. And we all have Uranus in our chart somewhere, and Uranus is still, we're feeling the square to Pluto. But Uranus is in Taurus now, and for the next really 7 years, it's an 8-year thing. So it's important to. I've been doing some research on the planet Uranus, and I found this book by Donna Cunningham. It's kind of hard to find, and I'm looking at Donald Trump's Trump Donald Trump Donald the Trump 10th house. Uranus, the perpetual adolescent. Yeah, it says Uranus, America, the United States of America. I was checking this out as I was waiting for the time to pass. Yeah, we're taping this. Uh, we have a whole lot of Cancer in our chart, and actually, the North Node now is goes counterclockwise, so it's like 8 degrees going from our Sun to our Jupiter over the next few months. But our Uranus is in Gemini in the sixth house of service, and it says here about in the sixth house, Uranus's placement in the sixth house uh, is it is by abrupt job changes participated by distaste or disconforming to rules. Yeah, we're not going to conform to rules now. We're not going to accept global warming. We're not going to accept the global awareness now. You know, we have the this building in San Francisco now, and I do a lot of walking around town, and I just stop and just go. Everything impresses a mystic, you know, a psychic mystic. So I'm easily awed, and the views of the city are still pretty awesome. But the downtown long escape, you see it from Dolores Park. You see when I'm on there on the J Church. You see it from walking around Potrero Hill. Like when I leave here, I'll see it as I go towards downtown. And I say to friends of mine, and I don't want to be vulgar, but I said, God, I just don't like that building. It's the Salesforce building, and it's a phallic symbol. And the other day, it was a clear day, and I was really close to it. I don't know where I was downtown, and I go, God, that's a nasty looking building. And now I'm a gay man, you know, and I live in San Francisco, and I'm all for, you know, you know. I'm not in closeted or prim and proper about phallic symbols. You know, I see them all over shop windows, but for some reason that just and then I said to myself the other day, it's got a head. You know, I don't want to be vulgar here, but your kids know about a human body. How could you not say it's a phallic symbol? And then the name too, Salesforce. It's like Neiman Marcus, needless markup. You know, it's why don't they use it like I made some lists of suggestions. We could start calling it for sales building, for sales building. At least be honest. At least be honest. Tell people, we're selling out this city and we got to force sales to keep it this way. So you're gonna go to San Francisco and do business. You got the force sales building, compassionate capitalism. Imagine the difference there if we had a city with a heart. I mean, a genuine, warm, soft, compassionate heart. Compassionate capitalism. Many people with brains are in think tanks, but they get squashed down. They can't compete with the monsters, the corporations. Teddy Roosevelt was all about corporations, but make sure you don't let the evil in them. He just took it for granted they were innately had evil in them. Don't let the evil in them get out of control. Non-cooperation with evil has as much a duty as cooperation with good. Global economy is the goal building. Wow. Equality global economy is the goal of this building. It's a long title, but boy, that would really raise it. I'd want to do business with it. I'd buy what they were selling. Consumer culture. We're a consumer culture, Everybody knows that who's teaching college. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. What's his name? Carey Walters, who's writing books. He gets it right from his students. They have to admit we're living in a consumer culture, and how do we live a comfortable life, so and there's ideas on there. There's a lot of things. Do some research on that. So they could call it the Consumer Culture Rehabilitation Building headquarters or plant, or instead, we're still I don't know how anybody with can just like Carl Jung said, he couldn't understand how human beings have this little spot in their brain where they could just turn things off, just forget about the cruelty, say for instance, in eating meat, or with the global. They knew now there's things truths are coming out now. First you get angry, and then you realize, okay, we got to do something about this. But they knew in the '60s, the gas companies, that about the carbon emission thing, and they just kept on hiding that. Now there's all after the horse is stolen, they close the barn doors. But people actually, there's a whole culture in America that spends money watching cars go around in circles, and we idolize the guys who do it. It's a sport. It's a sport. We never learned how to play. Many wise souls before me have said that. I'm just rephrasing that. Only all wisdom is plagiarism. Only stupidity is original. So I like what it says here about people like our country now. We don't want to adjust. We're lazy, sort of lazioso there. We've got this lazy stuff. So Donald Trump has. Did I say chump again? Oh my God! I have this block. I have this block to the guy's. The 10th house. That's where Donald Trump has his planet Uranus in. In Gemini, conjunct his North Node and his Sun, 17-20-20. Oh yeah, this guy's like, well, he's Polly. His nickname should be Polly. There's so many of him. Who are you today, Donnie? Donnie, are you Donnie Two Scoops? Or how are you Donnie the Terrible, Donnie the Miserable, who's going to, Donnie, cruelty is the point, cage children. In the 10th house, the statement is in the nature of a public announcement. No one can miss our defiance of authority figures in society's career expectations. Ah, see, that's what's going on there. I've said this many times, I wouldn't be surprised if, living in New York City, of course, being in New York City, growing up there, he had to, and, hanging around with socialites, he had to have experienced some amazing psychics. At least one psychic had to, I'm sure he would never admit that, but who knows. What else did he had to do? His biggest the way he helped the Vietnam War was staying away from it, and keeping his effort was to not get venereal diseases. But I don't think he was successful there. I think he has and I'm not the only one saying this again. He might have syphilitic brain. Al Capone died in prison from syphilis. It affects your brain, just the way Donald Trump's acting. Well, I would ask for a blood test, if I was Nancy Pelosi. If you notice, his wife isn't around. What is she like? Salvador Dali's wife, Gayla. He could only go there by invitation only. He couldn't just drop in, and I'm sure that's the same kind of. I can't. I don't know how. I was watching. I was on TV the other day, and I saw that New York psychic woman, the medium. I don't know. I take for granted the path I took was the hardest path, but I feel it's the most rewarding spiritually. I love where I am and who I am. And Swami Vivekananda said, when you learn these spiritual laws and you're thinking of manipulating for your own self-interest, drop that idea as fast as you would drop a stick that turned into a deadly serpent, because you are reaping karma you don't even want to think about sowing. And over the years, I've studied in Sausalito, Science of Mind, with teachers who got too into their own selves, and wow, they just, the ones that didn't die, a nasty death. I don't even want to talk metaphysics now. I ran into this one guy Well, he went and let himself go. Yeah, he was like a 600. He was really tipping the scales at like I could barely walk at 300 pounds. And I mentioned, I was doing psychic stuff. This was like almost 30 years ago. And he said, no, no, no. And he waddled away from me. So, you don't want to. So, this is why Pluto now, keep your. Because I think everybody knows that there's enough for everybody. You don't have to use people, you don't have to manipulate anything. And if you're a Cancer person, you got this connection to the mystical, get rid of any negative idea that tells you anything different than that. Let's see what we have. We all have it, but but for now, today, right now, for the next couple of months, it was like 18 months, and we're like a year or so into it. So it's running down the hourglass. It's going towards Gemini, which means the South Node will be Sag. See, so Donald, there's no way Donald Trump is going to escape this unscathed. I believe, like Maxine Waters says, she wants him in solitary confinement in a federal prison, just like his buddy who tripped and hung himself by accident. No, it was murder. Yeah, yeah. So I was watching this woman, and she says it's like a three-trick pony. She says the same thing. First of all, nobody doesn't survive your death, and yeah, I've done many, many readings where it's like, oh yeah, the thing you're looking for is in the hat box that you almost threw away, and then you find it, But you don't want to settle at mediumship. You want to go on, what a boring existence. I guess it pays because but then see, you get on a network, and I couldn't talk about how the greatest American health crisis is this started when we okayed for profit pharmaceutical ads on network TV, on all TV. All these TV stations now are, what it does to our mind is criminal, literally criminal. Uh, it says if you are complaining about things in your life, you are on the complaining frequency, and you are not in a position to attract what you want. Get on the frequency of good with your thoughts and words. Firstly, you will feel good, and secondly, you will be on the frequency of receiving more good. So many people are bitter. They're bitter. That's why diabetes is skyrocketing, because people will not allow themselves to enjoy the sweetness of life. They're working their fingers to the bone, and what do you get? Bony fingers. Okay, so Uranus now is like popcorn. Like you got this popcorn popper going a million miles, as fast as it can go, and then all of a sudden somebody just takes the cover off of it. That's what's happening now. So if you're a Taurus, you either anything in Taurus, Taurus moon, Taurus sun. Everybody's got to have Taurus somewhere. Even if you don't have a planet Taurus, you got a house cusp. Taurus is somewhere in your chart, either opposing, in which there's an awareness, or some kind of aspect going on there, because but especially Tauruses and Scorpios. Oh yeah, this opposition of Taurus is Scorpio, so of course you can't have anything like popcorn happening, all this action. Yeah, it's like the best of times. Like I've seen it happen. Just as I was leaving here today, I was talking to a good friend up north, and she mentioned she's very sad. This dear friend of hers, a real part of the community, her community. Nobody knew he was even sick, and he was just talking to someone the night before at work, and he's gone. And his mother had just died. She told me like a day or two before. I guess some people die from a broken heart. Yeah, he was a healthy, nobody, he didn't seem to have any health issues, and it shocked everybody. And she just happened to have something going on real strong in Taurus in her chart. And I said, wow, this is like the popcorn, because at the same time, all these really all things are happening, really, really nice things, really hard to understand things. If you're conscious and alive now, it's gotta be like, is this really happening? We have a Russian money launderer, an asset to the KGB, infiltrated the White House with neo-Nazi cohorts like Stephen Miller and you know torturing. It says it is. I'm laughing because love is the way. I'm just saying, you know, anybody has any is still thinking about. No, this man should have been put in solitary confinement for war crimes a long time ago. Well, you know, the fact is, Rumsfeld, W. Bush, and Cheney. We know, we knew they were lying when a declassified document shows these men ordered the invasion of a sovereign nation based on zero justification, they are the reason that ISIS is now. So that's the true. That's the no. So if I was a mystic or on TV doing healing, how could I not say, "Oh, your dead mother's the least of your problems. What the hell are you eating, man?" You know, or you know, it's like, or you know, or what pharmaceutical company is going to sponsor a show I'm on? You know, so as I said, hopefully, you know, when we'll evolve now. This new generation coming up is sharp as the sharpest knife in the drawer. Every thought we think is creating our future. Uh, Okay, and it says, oh, yeah, so on September 11th, Jupiter went stationary direct. It had been retrograde for like 6 months or so. It felt like a noose came unraveled. A noose came unraveled. A portal opened, and a wave of expansion, wisdom, blessings, the galactic way, yeah, now bestows themselves in your life. So remember, I'll be here again, God willing, on in case I've run out of time there on the first and the third Thursday at 5, and then most people see me. Oh, excuse me. That's the 5th of no, November 7th. Oh, great, because Friday's the 1st of November. Daylight savings ends, so it'll be dark here. The days will be very short. So it'll be the Thursday, the 7th of November, and the 21st. Well, the 21st close to Thanksgiving, isn't it? Yeah, so Bayvec might be closed. Who knows? Might be open. It's not until the 28th. I might be here. I think I will be. Okay, so let's see. Oh, yeah, so don't forget, yeah, because I'll definitely be here to talk about the. That week of the 18th, 19th, and 20th, then when Jupiter will be conjuncting the great attractor, and it's going to once again let's open that crown chakra. There's nothing to be afraid of except your freedom and liberation for lifetimes to come and knowledge. Always have a little pad and pencil near your bed. Uh, and jot down these images you have. A lot of people my age get up in the middle of the night and then you'll think of something and you'll think, oh, I'll remember that. And you won't. Am I whining? I'm whining. Uh, the times have found us, Thomas Paine said that. Truth, abundance, and cosmic expansion. Just imagine if that huge building, a for sales building, was called the Planet People Profit Building. Oh man, that would get around the globe. Uh, but instead of it's all about for sales, needless markup. I used to do readings at Neiman Markup and at private parties there, and they would have all these floors, and they would have to like tell the line would be around the bend for, and all the other psychics would leave their station and come and want a reading for me. And it was just, it was a kick, you know. Because that's how you get good. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. You know, it's by working with all different types of people. First, you perfect your instrument, then you just play. Oh, yeah, let's get some cards going on now. Let's see what what my guides want you to know. Yeah, so if you know your chart, find out where Uranus is, and that's where your uniqueness is. That's where, because that's what's going to save us now when the tough get going. The odd go pro, you know. I think somebody said that in Hunter Thompson book. You know, Hunter Thompson, again, speed worked for him for like a few years and then it turned on him. He started shooting people he loves. That's what happens with these drugs like alcohol. The only thing that doesn't do any effects like that is cannabis, you know? And if we're going to use, we got this, pigs want to get high. You know, they've studied, you know, at least use we have cannabinoid receptors. Okay, just a thought. Next time you're thinking of boozing it up, think of there's no good thing about that. Okay, let's see what. Let me get to my non-local space and see what we all need to know. People that are listening now. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is my. Well, I guess this show will be up on YouTube, so whoever watches this, being living at this time now. Oh yeah, so we're gonna start seeing, especially as the intensity now. Okay, so here's our inner selves. This is our collective outer selves. This is where we're coming from. Uh, our hopes, our aspirations for the future, the work we need to be doing. I'm doing the 9 card spread here. And then this is the results and the outcome. Okay, so let's see what I'm getting from my peoples here, my friends. There's the magician. Yeah, the best gift we can give this planet is be a fully healthy us, emotionally, financially, and physically on all levels. I am whole and complete. Yeah, America, being we all live here, probably is in a 5 year. 2019 is 3 and 11 our day a month. 4th of July is 11 or 2, so that's 5. This is next month, November, is going to be wisdom for America. And so this is real important now. Always respect the earth. There's the earth, the pentacles, the earth. Remember the 4 elements. You know, get back to nature because I believe. This has been earthquake week here in San Francisco. I was looking out my bathroom window last night, and I said to my neighbor, she was smoking on her porch. It's down from where I live, across this big yard, but you know, it's like a canyon. And I said to her, "Well, I hope we sleep through the night without another earthquake." And she says, "Oh, yeah, yeah, from your lips to God's ears there." Okay, so there we are now, the magician. And what's surrounding us is friends. The world's just friends you haven't met yet. I just was going to read thing now about something about it is our differences that divide us. It is our our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. It's not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Yeah, I remember when I first moved here from New York City and I went totally health crazy and joined an organic commune. And there were these Sufi festivals back in the late 60s, early 70s in Sausalito. And I had such good times there. They were smoking hash and dancing and eating vegetables and kids there. It was like Hare Krishna, man. It was beautiful. And there was a Krishna temple up in Coal Valley, but that didn't last long. Well, you know, it's all about the money now. Prostitutes and real estaters now, you know, lawyers. The meter's always running. You know, the meter's always running. You know, we got a city hall now where trees aren't worth their real estate. It's just, I mean, you know, I know it's change is the way it's supposed to be, Frank. I'm talking to myself here, but not the way it's doing it now, you know. Well, the Force Sales Building says it all. Pass it around. Maybe they'll change the name. Imagine if you said, oh, yeah, that's the building. It's called Planet People Profit. they'll just that would get into the conscious. Instead, it's getting out. Even they call it force, sales force. Like we don't have enough forces. Like I never liked the term spiritual warrior. No, no, you can't be a warrior. Okay. Yeah, it's not over till it's over. There's a lot right over our shoulder. Yeah, it's gonna be more yucky stuff is gonna come up, and it's gonna be like, no. Okay, here was America's youthful. Yeah, compared to other countries, we're just learning to we're going from the toddler to, oh look, he could walk. He's a big boy now. Okay, there's the high priestess. We got America's got angels, the same angels George Washington talked about. There's the queen of the angels. Everybody ask the angel. I believe in the power of prayer if we ever needed it. I'm not talking about reciting words. That's parrots work. Just give joy for where we are now, and say, okay, this is happening for me, not to us. It's not happening for us, it's happening to us. And there's, show me the gift, show me how I can make this a better. That's a prayer. That's a prayer. Okay. Be happy with what you have, and more will be added. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It's a global world. Celebrate all these different cultures. The results is, yes, the next couple of lunations are going to be really intense. But it's an opportunity now to get all unseen forces behind the scenes ready to expose them. And all we have to do is, the wind's going our way now. See, he's smiling here. The bright people are actually laughing. Like, it's not a joke anymore, but they can't believe, like, this moron, even a moron. That's, calling names. This man is sick. And he has no heart. Definitely Stephen Miller and all these Nazis are, who believe cruelty is the point. We need to pray for them. Nothing else is going to work, and it's not hopeless. Just say it. We now go. I now, and we as a country now go beyond people's fears and limitations. We create a new life for America. America was always meant to be, to stay going. Oh yes, another one here. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Fear sells, man, and it's being pumped down your throat. Clubbing. The dank, clubbing you to dank submission. Don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. I love you. See you in a couple of weeks. Namaste. Oh, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Bum, bum, bum. I can't get this thing to stop.